Guys, in comic books, there are many versions of Thor, like Unworthy Thor, the Red Norvel, Ultimate Thor, Thor Odinson, and many others. But when it comes to the most powerful versions of Thor, only two names come to mind. One is Old King Thor, who had the Necro Sword, and the second is Rune King Thor. But guys, who is more powerful between them? I will explain that in my upcoming videos. Because in this video, we will only talk about Rune King Thor, so that you can understand both characters well and know which one is more powerful. So today, we will only talk about the origin of Rune King Thor. So guys, Rune King Thor's origin is full of struggle. Actually, this was the time of Ragnarok, where Odin was already dead, and Thor was the king of Asgard. Meanwhile, Loki, forced by his habit, always wanted to become more powerful than Thor and destroy Asgard. And he was doing this with the help of his sons. Loki even created a second Mjolnir with Surtur's help, and that too from the same mold that Thor's Mjolnir was made from. So Loki also had the same weapon that Thor had. And along with this, Loki had an army, his sons, and also Surtur, who were helping him in all this. So because of this, Asgard was destroyed along with its allied realms, except for Valhalla and Vanaheim, where Loki himself wanted to rule. All of Thor's people were dying, and those who escaped were trying to save themselves from Loki's army. Meaning, this was ultimately the end of Asgard, that is Ragnarok. And slowly, Thor also began to understand this, because his every move, every attempt was failing. Even his hammer broke, and now he didn't have enough strength left to save his people from dying. But there was one difference between Thor and the other Asgardian gods. Despite being a god, he was living the life of a human, and from all this, Thor had definitely learned one thing: never give up. And he remembered this, even during Ragnarok. So he decided to follow the path of his father, Odin. The path to obtaining the ancient runes and their magic. And it was so tough that Thor, just like Odin, had to put one of his eyes into Mimir's well and hang himself from the world tree for 9 days and nights. Only then could he get the wisdom, the strength, and the magic with which he could save his people. But when Thor put one of his eyes into the well, nothing of the sort happened, because his father had already walked this path. So this time, Thor had to do something even greater than Odin. At that time, due to his unworthiness, Thor did not even have the Odin Force. But yes, the Odin Force did guide him. It told Thor that he would have to put both his eyes into Mimir's well and hang from the world tree until his death. Meaning, Thor ultimately had to die to obtain all of that. And he did just that. He plucked out both his eyes and put them in Mimir's well. Thor couldn't understand what he would do now without eyes. This was an ultimate sacrifice that no one could even imagine. Plucking out one's own eyes with one's own hands. But then, suddenly, magical water starts coming out of Mimir's well. The Odin Force tells Thor to drink that water and put it in his eyes. So Thor does exactly that. With this, Thor began to see everything from the past that was connected to Asgard. Every Ragnarok cycle in which his father had died before. The creation of Earth, humans, Avengers, the death of his people. Every past that Thor did not know. He saw the creation of realms in the universe, and every link after that, which he wanted to know. But along with this, Thor learned another truth. That Ragnarok is an endless cycle from which one can never escape. And with this, he began to think about what he would do now. Thor began to cry, bitterly in pain and sorrow. It was then that the Odin Force explained to him that if he wanted to end this endless cycle, he would have to obtain the magic of the runes, which would also allow him to see the future. Thor was very disheartened, but he did as the Odin force said. He hung from the world tree until he died. And then Thor connected with his father's spirit and the runes in such a way that he saw every creation, all the knowledge that exists in this world. Now Thor could see the past and the future, and could control the present time. He could even see every path that would lead him to a better future. He could see atoms, molecules, quantum structure, every architecture that could both create and destroy life. Thor was even seeing beyond the cosmic architecture, meaning Thor had received all the knowledge of the universe, be it scientific or cosmic. The runes showed him the future of every person, everything, and it was all so terrifying that Thor began to writhe in agony. He also learned that creation can only happen after destruction. And Ragnarok was just that. The ancient runes showed him the future of everything. He saw every deed, karma, of humans and a god. Every battle that was won and lost. He also saw why his father had left him alone on Earth as a mortal. Then he learned that it was all just a part of Odin's plan, so that Thor, by living the life of a human, could find a way to end the cycle of Ragnarok. Then Thor falls from the world tree, and death begins to call him. It was impossible even for Thor to escape from Hel, his own realm. So he asks his father, Odin, for help just one last time. Help to save himself. And Odin's spirit, despite his death, saves Thor from the brink of death. And then Thor reaches the place where the gods of the Asgardian gods resided, those who sit above in shadows. Now Thor could see everything that he couldn't see even with his real eyes. And Thor was not going to die there as Odin had. He challenges all of them, saying that times are different now, and he knows how to defeat them all. Then Thor teleports himself out of there, using Rune Magic. So guys, this was the origin of Rune King Thor, and you've probably gotten an idea of how powerful he is. But still, in my next video, I will continue Rune King Thor's story and tell you about his complete powers. And I will also tell you why he became even more powerful than Odin. But guys, before you go, if you liked this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. So guys, that's all for today. See you in my next video. Till then, thank you, and bye.